Well, good evening or afternoon, boys and girls, or good morning, whatever. The Bill Crane Report is on the air again with my good friend, Dwayne Weiss.
Hey, everybody.
And before we get rolling, I must tell you that if I sound differently, I am laboring with two new temporary partials that the dentist has installed. Not terribly comfortable, and my diction may suffer somewhat. But I'm going to soldier on because I'm a brave man.
I think everybody can
I'm
still
not going
understand
to let it slow me down.
Did you have that done at Tufts again?
Yeah. I go into Tufts, into their dental school. They're very good. I enjoyed them. It's very convenient. Hop on the T and 45 minutes you're in South Station, and a 15-minute walk and you're there.
They got their own station right there at Tufts.
Yeah, but you got to change,
Yeah,
and
you got to change before
yeah.
that, and then go to the subway system.
And the 15-minute walk is good. It's brisk, and unless it's 28 degrees and
it's
snowing. But anyway, so look, folks, I thought I would start off, before we re-engage some of the serious things I want to talk about, and I hopefully will get to some lighter stuff later, but I've got about half a dozen miscellaneous little things I want to talk to you about. First of all, Dwayne is very upset. When he goes to New York, frequently, he always stays at a very ritzy private club, the Princeton Club of New York. It's a midtown oasis.
This is news to me. Obviously that would be my type of place.
But the bad news is this 10-story private club with 58 guest rooms and quite a few other amenities is going out of business.
I'm more of a Motel 6 guy.
Well, you're going to have to do it because the Princeton Club is no more.
Is that an old place? An old,
Yeah.
old New York?
Rich.
Okay.
Ultra rich.
That's why I've never seen it.
Ivy League school only.
That's another reason I haven't been
Yeah.
there.
It's like the Somerset Club in Boston.
Yeah.
If you have to ask
Oh,
how
yeah.
much it costs to join,
You can't afford
you
it.
can't afford it. Well, anyway. Now,
But who said that? Any club that would have me as a member, I don't want to join. It was one of the comedians.
Groucho Marx.
Groucho Marx, that's right.
Now, driving around London, England has taken a turn for the worse. There is a £21 entry tax to drive into London, and now they have just introduced a £17.50 congestion fee. Just figuring out this real closely and doing some math, cost you $50 to drive into London now. Wait till these bums in Massachusetts into the State House hear about this.
Don't think they're not eyeing that.
Oh,
They're
boy.
salivating already.
Raises for all the chairmen of all the committees in
Yep.
the Senate and the
Oh,
House
absolutely.
coming up.
You know that, I don't know, they got a name for it here too, and we used to have to go into Boston 3-4 times a week, and that was pre-pandemic, and it was stop go.
Yeah.
From the Braintree split, it was one car at a time. Then we would hear these things. Well, we should put a toll on prime time going in. because then people won't use it all at the same time. I thought, how many people out here are here because they like to do this?
Yeah.
You're out there because you have to do that.
Exactly. And toll booths are going to slow the whole
Everything up
process
again.
down more.
Yep.
Some of the deep thinkers into the State House,
Oh,
I mean, you know,
you got two words that should never be used in the same sentence: deep thinkers and State House.
yeah. Well said. Sad story. But I'm going to dredge it up anyway. A former Bruin, Jimmy Hayes, 31 years old, played in the National Hockey League,
Yep.
died in his vehicle of suspicious. Couldn't figure out what it was. Well, 6 weeks later, we get the news. Heroin and fentanyl.
When you see the suspicious circumstances, you can just about guess.
Yeah, I guessed it, believe me.
Right off the bat.
But the point I'm going to make is everybody, in their words about Jimmy, talked about what a great kid he was. What a wonderful guy. His father, he was just a wonderful kid. But this addiction is so powerful. If I had a formula that could tell people, I hope getting Jimmy's story out can save someone's life, and on and on and on. Am I wrong? Every one of these deaths always ends up with, he was such a nice kid. How could this happen?
How could it happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
No bad guys ever die of this.
No. It's not just a drug overdose. Look at you get a gang shooting, and some kid gets blown away. He was popping off at somebody else, and somebody else was a better shot. He was such a good kid. Anyway, he wanted to be a lawyer, or he was going to be a doctor.
Potential.
Such
Wonderful potential.
Of course, that kid dropped out of school when he was 12. He's been gangbanging since.
That's right. Yeah. It's pathetic. I guess if you could put a positive spin on this issue, if there's such a thing as a positive spin for this, is this crap knows no boundaries.
Yeah.
It takes the good ones, the underachievers, the bad ones.
Yeah,
it
that
takes
does.
every one of them out.
That's right.
It's sad, but I'm always struck by, in retrospect, he was a great kid and all that. Maybe he was, but how did he go wrong? How did he get grabbed by this stuff?
That's the key right there. Nobody that I have ever heard of, sometimes in a fiction story, becomes a heroin addict by walking down the street, or going to school, or to church,
Or
reading a book, or going to the library.
That's right, reading a book and saying, well, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think I'll become an addict.
I think I'm going to take a dirty old needle and stick it in my arm, just for the heck of it.
Because it's in this book, and the book
Yeah.
says, hey, it's rewarding. Let me jump all over this.
And today, when you see the dangers and the consequence of not only heroin addiction, but add fentanyl into it, deadly. I mean,
Deadly.
absolutely deadly. You got to be a moron to try this.
Yep. And we have this stuff coming into the country.
Yep.
So what does President Biden do? Let's have open borders.
Of course.
Sure. Bring it all in. What the hell, It's sad.
It is, but it's
Very, very sad.
you can't change what it is. It's just it's people do things that defy logic. People take risks sometimes, I think, and not only drugs, but I don't understand some of the risks that people do take.
You and me both.
I don't understand it.
I have...
Maybe because we're older. Do you think that is part
No,
of it?
because I never took chances knowingly when I was a kid.
Well, I think
I
we
was
did,
cautious.
but we didn't do it to the point of
Yeah.
craziness.
Like, for instance, if I had a chance, even when I was a kid, to go up in a hot air balloon with 18 other people,
Mm-hmm.
you think I'd be hopping on that thing? There's no way in hell. I wouldn't do it.
Yep.
The folks that go hiking in the woods without a compass, without knowing where the devil they are.
That's stupidity.
Yeah. It costs us money, though, every time one of
Every
them gets
time.
lost.
I saw that. I don't know if they went through with it, but New Hampshire was going to start charging
Yeah.
people to take people off Mount Washington or something that because of their
Something
stupidity.
like around $800 to $1,200 they were talking about. Well, you call the Fish and Wildlife people out.
Yep.
You call the state police out. You call out first responders. I mean, how much does it cost to go find one of these?
It cost them
nitwits?
$600 to flip the on switch on the helicopter, much less fly it and maintenance.
Absolutely.
Every
Absolutely.
time it flies, it's got to go through
Yeah.
another maintenance program.
And then you say to the bozo, you didn't even have a compass with
Yeah.
you? Or better yet, one of those cell phones with the position finder
Mm-hmm.
built into it? Oh, I didn't. I just thought I'd take a walk.
That's right.
Well, sir, moving right along. Now, Dwayne, I have got to tell you, on HBO 2, now you missed it, but hopefully HBO 2 will have this movie again.
I'm still going to miss it because I don't have HBO.
Well, you're going to have to get it. When you hear this,
All right, I'm probably
Now,
going to get home, call it right away.
the best movies, by the way, are 4 stars.
Yeah?
This one has earned 1 star. The name of it is Hot Chick.
Hot chick.
Yeah. Now, it's not about a barnyard animal that goes running around.
You know, somehow that wasn't the first thing that came to mind.
This is good.
Okay.
A cheerleader and a man switch bodies via magic earrings.
Yeah, those damn magic earrings again.
Get you every time.
Every time.
I mean, you want to talk about a compelling movie that you want to highlight on your list of things to
man,
watch.
That's a must see.
I mean, this has got to be right at the top of the list. My word.
There is some real junk on TV.
Oh,
Oh my God.
and you know what? I must have now officially 1 million channels. I get this and I get that. I got 200 something bucks worth of crap.
Yeah, mine's $2.12 a month.
Yeah, Comcast. But I could tell you on the fingers of one hand the channels I watch.
So do I.
Oh, maybe 2 hands, maybe 10 channels. That's it. What the hell am I doing with the other 300 channels?
Yep.
You
know what I do?
Paying for
At
'em.
night, when I sit down, when we start to watch TV, we always have to watch the 7 and 7:30.
Oh, I know.
My house, that's the holy hour. Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. I don't mind Jeopardy. Wheel of Fortune, I'm too crazy about. But then at 8 o'clock, then it's my turn to switch around.
Yeah.
I take the last channels watched, and I start plugging in, going through the list and plug in all them that I'm interested in. And that's it. I don't have to,
I know.
I can just go to the bottom and switch over them. I don't have to go through that crap anymore.
Patrick put Roku
Oh, yeah.
on both my TVs, and that's one of the best features. Is when I fire it up, it shows me all the channels I've been watching,
That's right.
and I just spin right through them to. Oops, there's the ball game right there.
That's right.
Yep. But you're right. I mean, some of the stuff.
It's just, I don't know. Did we get more discerning? And I kind of doubt that. But
I
Or-
think fussier would
Fussier,
probably
probably?
be a better word.
I
yeah.
think that's probably it, but it seems like every year the value of the programming goes down and down and down.
Thank God for Swamp People.
Yep.
I love that show. Susie actually watched it with me.
That's the crocodile?
Well, yeah, maybe,
Or the
yeah,
alligator?
alligators, yeah.
not crocodile.
Maybe watches too. She sat there while it was on with me and commented from time to time.
Some of them people they look like they're down and out
Yeah,
swamp rats.
but
They are well to do. That, what was his name, Landry?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got
Troy Landry
Troy, yeah.
in his the young lady that rides in the boat with him.
Used to be Elizabeth. I don't know if she's still there.
No, he's got another one. Oh, gee, I'll think of her name in a minute. But I'll tell you what, she is cute, young, and she can do everything he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Shooting them gators and pulling them in the
Well,
boat.
yeah, you better
Oh,
hope they're dead when you do that, though.
Yeah. Ordinarily, I know. I look at Consumer Report.
Yep.
I use it as a guideline, not as something strict. But I like to look at some of the things that they highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And they put in one of their advertisements a little paragraph. And I'm going to read this for you. Get a lower price on just about anything.
Yep.
Just ask the salesperson, can you do better? In a CR survey, people who successfully negotiated a better price at a walk-in retailer saved $84 on average for TVs. Shopping online, use the live chat feature to ask for a lower price. 69% of online shoppers who haggled got a lower price. Try this tip and see how much you can save.
That's right.
Well, you know Patrick,
Yeah,
my son.
yeah.
He and Peter came with me a couple of times to Kohl's,
Yep.
and they're embarrassed.
Oh, kids with their father are easily embarrassed, trust me.
For a variety of reasons.
Sometimes on purpose, I do it.
Yeah. Now, I said, well, okay, now we're going to get these couple of things. Let's see. We're not going to be in the queue where they say, go to the next person. You're next, go to number 4. I said, we're going to go to the oldest person, cashier. So, and I'll tell the person that's force feeding you into the queue, I want a specific person. I want the oldest person. I have an affinity for the elderly, and I want to support the elderly in their work experience. And I get to them
Yep.
and say, okay, now, you and I are both old people. How about helping me out? What do you got for discounts? And both of them, the boys,
Oh, yeah, I've been down that road.
and guess what? It always works.
Mm-hmm.
The last time, one of them said, well, this is a tough day because we already got a couple of sales. I said, now listen, you can't tell me you don't have a barcode in the drawer for special purposes. She goes, oh, you mean this one? Beep! Automatic 20% off.
Mm-hmm.
When I got out to the car, they gave me hell for doing that. You know, you're an embarrassment. You old people.
Oh, I've heard that so
yeah.
many times.
But you know what? You don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also going to tell you guys, okay? And there's a couple of ladies too. Ask if there's a veterans discount.
Yep.
They don't put it up on the wall for you to see in big print, okay? But ask about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the next time you renew your license, if you haven't already done so, take your DD-214 or some proof of service with you to the registry or AAA or wherever you're doing it. Show it. They will print on your license permanently, as right on the
Yep.
bottom, veteran.
Yep. And I have that. I did
I
that.
did too.
And it's the DD-214 you want to bring.
But
Now-
one other thing about negotiating price or haggling,
Yeah.
as they call it, and this makes sense. If you haggle or negotiate is a better word, and you're successful, buy it. Don't take up their time and they come back and go get the manager, go get somebody else, and you get a 10% or a 20, 30% discount. Say, well, I'll see you around. I'm going to check around.
Yeah, I'm going to check around a couple other stores. Yeah.
If you haggle down a discount, buy it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going to do it anymore.
That's right. Exactly right. And here's another good one. And you got to do this. If Dwayne and I are haggling, and I said to Dwayne, look, you've got to come down to $200, or else I'm walking out that door. And Dwayne says, well, you better walk out. You'll walk out.
Yeah, don't make idle threats. Just do what you're going
That's
to
right. If you threaten to walk out the door and get to the door and then turn around and look over your shoulder, you're dead. He will never budge then. Because he knows you want it, but you're still trying to grind him a little bit. And he's saying, I'm grinding you back.
do. The only thing that this negotiating is not as effective as right now with some certain items.
Yeah.
If they don't have it and it's a 6 or 8 week, 12-week wait, don't even bother.
Forget about it.
Forget it.
Yeah. You just can't get it done.
No.
No. And car dealers right now, if
Yeah.
they've got it on the lot, they can sell it for
They
less
can sell
price.
it. So if you're not going to buy
Yeah,
it, somebody
that's
this
right.
afternoon will buy it.
Yeah. And they're actually saying to people, hi, could I help you? Please, are you interested in buying today? Otherwise, please don't waste my time. I get a line of people I've got to service. And that's it.
It's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And they got you over a barrel.
Mhm.
But you know what? The worm always turns. And you'll have them over a barrel in a year from now.
We just bought, well, not just. In fact, it's surprisingly going to come up onto a year because it was before Christmas last year. But right after Christmas, we bought a new stove, a new refrigerator at Home Depot. And it was about 12, no, not that many, 8 to 10 weeks out. And they still, I asked about the military discount, they still gave me the 10%,
Yep.
even though it was not available today. We had to wait for it.
Yeah.
Which surprised me. I figured they were going to say, yeah, right.
By the way, my lads that get embarrassed, when it's time to get a new stove or something, Patrick is not shy about saying, Dad, you want to come with me to Lowe's and buy this and I'll give you the money? Because you'll get a 10% veterans
Yeah,
discount.
they'll take the discount.
Yeah, $50 in my pocket, Dad, is, I said, as long as you don't get embarrassed, Patrick. But I do that. I do that all the time. What the heck? Now, I have one more thing. Now, I get the Boston Globe.
Yeah,
Much against my better judgment. But, for instance, Sunday, between drinking coffee, chatting, and everything else, took me 2 hours to read the Boston Globe. And I don't read the whole bloody thing. I do read the first 4 sections in the sports section.
Yeah.
Sports section took me an hour and a half. But I disagree with much that is published in the Boston Globe. So when you get a chance to tweak them, I like to tweak them. Now, Dwayne, I'm going to put this up this way to show you. There's an article on the other side.
All right.
Look at how much. That is more than 2/3 of a page. I think that's 3/4 of a page.
Yeah.
In the Boston Globe, Tuesday, October 26th, which, if I'm any judge of days, is today's.
That's what it is.
Now, there's an article on the other side of this, folks. So you say to yourself, wow, this has got to be one important article to spend that much space on it. Elite Wrestling returns to Boston.
I saw that.
Isn't that something, folks? How many trees had to die for you to be able to read about the what the hell is it now? E or F or whatever
It's
it
E.
is.
The big one is E, I think.
Yeah. WWE.
That-
And then this box down here. WWE Survivor Series will be back at TD Garden in 2022. And
Yep.
it gives you the schedule.
You know, that's the same paper that will lecture you about global warming, using fuels, wasting resources, et cetera, conservation. Yet
Yeah.
they'll publish that kind of stuff or waste whole pages sometimes
They will
with
waste.
nothing. And
They
because
will waste.
because it's their dollar.
That's right. They will waste more bloody space lecturing me on why I should have a heat pump.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but there's government subsidies for it. So I'm paying myself to
Yep.
get a heat pump. Boy, oh boy. Well, I have a couple of other things here I'd like to get to, and then we can get serious, I guess.
Or not.
Or not. Well, schools are in the news. Access to free meals at school expanded.
I take it you're not talking about sewing class?
No.
Oh, okay.
A Massachusetts law, a new one, is expected to give thousands of additional students access to free meals at schools and will prohibit school employees from punishing students who have meal debt by publicly identifying them, denying them a meal, or serving them an alternative meal. Now, I can tell you something. Any school employee that would do something like that to a
Yeah.
kid would not be an employee in my school system
not
for
the
too
kid's
long.
fault.
No.
Oh,
If dad and mom don't have the money to give the kid and they send the kid off hungry, well, I say let's feed him. But you know what? I say let's feed everybody, regardless. If we're going to cook for half the school breakfast, let's cook for the
Yeah.
whole school.
that's true.
You know? Just makes sense. But this business about some of these people embarrassing the kids, the legislation also prevents school employees from using punitive measures against students with meal debt, including publicly identifying them, denying them a meal, and throwing away their meal. Again, and I'm like a broken record here, but who are these people that are doing this and get their butts out the door?
Yeah, that's not right.
No,
That's just
it's not.
plain wrong.
But we coddle the employees. Oh, Eddie didn't mean that, or Sonia didn't mean that. But they're so frustrated with, I don't care about it. Don't take it out on the kids.
See, Bill and I do have some redeeming social values, regardless of what some of you people say.
Keep scraping, we'll see if we can find
That's
some
right.
more. So this little article brings up another one of my pet peeves. And that is the lack of school uniforms. I think that all the kids in school, 1 through 8, should wear uniforms. Now, why is that? Because some folks don't have the money
Yep.
to give little Samantha 10 straight changes of clothes so that for 2 weeks she's constantly
It-
a fashion piece. Or for little Eddie to dress up real snappy in the latest clothes. They don't have the money. So how do they feel about themselves?
Yep.
And how do they feel also when the kids that have it flaunt it?
Flaunt it. They
Yeah.
do.
Oh, they sure do.
Yeah.
Especially when, and I think it's girls more than boys, but I'm not positive of this. But when a girl comes in looking like she was dragged through a knothole, oh, Elizabeth, don't you look nice today? Who did your hair? How'd you do that? With a brick? You know, this is cruelty.
And,
You talk about bullying. Sometimes I think girls are worse than boys.
the haves can afford the latest in trends, fashions, and those things are expensive. I mean, whether it be a certain style of jeans with a label on them, or a certain shoe, or top, or blouse, but they have them. And the other kids, they really want them, but their parents can't afford the
That's
that
right.
money. Because
That's right.
these things a lot of times are ridiculously priced.
$695 for a handbag?
Yeah. Oh, that. Well, we're not even. Yeah.
Woof! And yet some of these girls have them in school.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, it's probably mom's hand-me-down because
It could
she
be.
had to get a new one for the
A
season.
lot of times it's a pair of jeans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know fashion. I don't know the names, but I've seen these things.
Oh, yeah.
The jeans might be $150.
And not only that, but these girls go to school and they're all totted up like a French hooker on Friday night, standing on a street corner. I mean, good God. Put them in uniforms. Okay? That's it.
There's nothing wrong with a uniform.
There isn't.
There's not a
There
thing.
isn't. All right? The Catholic schools have got it right. Put them in uniforms. And that's the end of the story.
Well, it's not only Catholic school, but some of the private academies also.
Absolutely.
That same thing because
That's
you
right.
you got the scholarship kids and you got the legacy kids, and the income difference is vast.
So, Dwayne, you have just started picking at another scab I hadn't been thinking
Is
of.
it legacy?
Yeah.
That was a sore spot with me too.
Harvard
That's the exact one that came to mind.
was like 14%
Yeah,
of
something
the
like yeah,
incoming
16%.
class were legacy.
Legacy students.
Yeah. Now, I can see Harvard's point of view. Their
Oh.
parents spent money going to Harvard.
Yep.
Their parents' folks spent money, big money. And they have been donors to Harvard. I really and truly believe they deserve somewhat of a break. Now, does that mean that a legacy dullard is automatically put on top of a kid that aces all his courses? No.
Absolutely not.
But when you get down to splitting hairs, I think legacy should be a factor. Not the overriding factor, but if you have two kids that, for all intents and purposes, are equal, I say, if you're going to go by race to guide your decision, you can go by legacy just as easily. And to my mind, I don't think there's a lot of difference between deciding that one way or t'other. Now,
I would take legacy out of it
Yeah.
altogether. Just because it's privilege.
mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with the person that got selected or didn't get selected. It's what happened with your ancestors. And, you know, those that are, their parents are alumni of Harvard, chances are lived a very charmed and not an easy life, but a much more affluent life.
Yeah, okay.
Because
They were in the upper crust.
Yeah. But, see, if you're going to compete for a seat in a school, that's it. You compete as you compete.
Okay, so.
And I don't like their fact that they got grades. Well, that's good. Grades, activities, leadership. But then they got something called an interview, and they make subjective decisions based on factors that they won't admit or won't tell you what they're actually judging
And
on.
are told not to tell you.
Oh yeah. That's all secret. That's that little out they can always use.
Yeah. But sometimes, well, veterans. Now, in police exams, fire exams,
Mhm.
there's veterans privilege, a veterans
Preference.
preference. I believe strongly in that.
Yeah, I do too. Not just because we're veterans, but I believe that that's a situation where it's a payback, a public payback for public service.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I think the university could look at someone who has been very generous in their endowments to the university, who was educated there, whose family paid for the whole freight. I can see where they could equate that with service.
Yeah, you can, but you can also say that the money that the person is giving to the university is helping their own children instead of somebody that's a little more deserving than their children. We're just making a selection.
Yeah.
It's something that you and I will never ever solve.
No, and it's one of those insoluble things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really bothers me is bullying in school.
Is what?
Bullying
Oh, bullying. Yeah, I
in school.
agree. Yeah, that's.
Kids can be very, very cruel.
Oh my God, they
to
can
one
be
another.
horrible.
And to see it, I can remember as a kid, there were some kids who got picked on because they were either nerdy or they were lummoxes or whatever. And, I didn't like it. But you know what? You know the old story? You got to go along to get along.
Yep.
So you turn and you walk away. Or you just don't get involved. And that is a vicious cycle. Because what happens to those kids at that age is something they have to deal with the rest of their lives. If you're told you're a turkey, you're going to start growing feathers.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Globe talks about zero tolerance of bullying. But the bottom line is they almost don't want to punish the bullies.
That's right. They don't.
And this one line here, whatever the reason, this anonymous gang needs to be accountable so that they can be saved from themselves and society can be protected from them. Instead of giving the bullies a kick in the keister and saying, what the hell's wrong with you? And send them home to their parents, they sit down with them and they plead with them. I gotta save
I
you
think
from
the-
yourself.
I think the best cure for a bully is a broken nose or a black eye. A kid that's physically domineering some kid, if that kid turns around and whaps him in the face a couple of times, he's going to stop.
Even if the kid loses the fight, the fact
that he did
that he
fight
did
back.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, so,
Yeah, see, there we go. We advocating violence again.
which
Maybe,
is-
maybe we don't have any redeeming social values. Come think about it.
well, we'll think about it as we examine
All right.
this next situation. Melrose schools are not celebrating Halloween in class
I
this
just
year.
saw that this morning. I scanned across. I said, "Oh my God!"
Elementary schools in Melrose will eschew, I guess that means do away with,
Yeah, I think it does.
Halloween celebrations this week in favor of, I love this, broader fall themed activity, saying the shift supports the district's mission of equity and inclusion for all students. Now, I'm going to put you right on the spot, buddy.
Uh-oh. Won't be the first time.
What is fall themed activities?
Must be apple picking. I don't know.
Well, they're not going to take them out apple picking, are they?
I don't know.
I
Fall themed. I know you're not going to take them apple picking. You're not going to take them to a football. Go to a football game.
there's violence in football. You don't want
Oh,
to do that.
Oh my, that's right.
And not only that, but what if the Melrose team is called the Melrose Indians?
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Oh, good heavens.
I mean, we're really
Yeah, I
muddying
know,
the
it's-
waters here.
I don't. I have no idea what they.
I
they-
have
them
no
kind of
idea
people would-
either, and I have read this entire article looking for it, and I can't find it. But Julie Kuchenberger, superintendent of the Melrose Public Schools,
Yeah.
said by email, as a district, we value celebrations and community building activities that represent many cultures and traditions. We are committed to ensuring that all students and staff feel safe, included, and represented in our school. And she said in the letter that school officials had worked to de-emphasize Halloween and shift our focus towards community building through fall celebrations. I mean,
it's just the PC crowd coming through.
It
again.
is.
That's all it is.
they talk and say absolutely nothing.
That's right.
Why in God's name do we listen to them? But look at
We
look
don't.
at the Globe
Oh, I know.
devotes an eighth of a page to this nonsense.
But they didn't ask the kids in Melrose, the school.
No.
No, they didn't
No.
ask them. They didn't even ask the parents. That's a decision of somebody, an individual that is.
A civil servant.
Yep.
That
To me, Halloween now is a non-holiday or non-celebration. If you look at it, it's kind of weird. Skeletons and ghosts and pumpkins and all that other stuff. But kids have a good time with it.
you're right.
So
And what is the harm?
nothing. That's the whole thing.
That's it.
Kid might get a little bit too much candy, but Halloween's Halloween.
Yeah.
If you don't want them to eat it, don't let them eat it all
And
at once.
back in the old days too, it was trick or treat. And if you don't give me a treat, I'm going to pull a trick on you. We don't do that
They don't do that.
anymore.
Nah.
I mean, for heaven's sakes, we didn't even do it then. But, and some people say, well, they're pint-sized extortionists.
Oh, come
They're
on.
kids, for crying out
Little
loud.
kids walking around dressing up as princesses or Jedi Knights or
Yeah.
whatever they dress up as today.
Isn't the idea behind childhood to enjoy it?
Yep.
I mean, So, well, let's cancel this. Oh, well.
Oh, we used to, where we lived before this, we had, there was a gazillion kids. And the parents, would go with them around. It was like a closed, like a big circle we lived on, the street was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the parents, they got treats too.
Yeah.
Got a beer or a shot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a shot of bourbon with the kids. And
Yeah.
so it was fun for the parents too. So
That was a common deal back when I was a kid. I observed that quite often. But the parents, in a petition, 1,000 people signed it, said Halloween, the term, the celebration, are being removed from the schools in Melrose. A holiday and tradition that started out centuries ago has now evolved into a modernized day of fun costumes, creepy decorations, and lots of candy. But school officials, the petition stated, have decided the term and celebration of Halloween in the schools is no longer acceptable and is non-inclusive. A day that is merely about costumes and fun has turned political.
political and non-inclusive. Now, how in the hell did they come up with that?
Well, okay, so I think it's the one where little Jason and little Wanda are taken out by their parents and they buy them $100 costumes. And little Robert, whose family is blue collar, throws a sheet over him, cuts a couple of eyes in it, and that's it.
It's as good as the black one.
Yes, it is. But the kid is made to feel less than.
Kids don't.
It's like Little League.
Yeah.
Nobody should win. Or soccer.
Soccer.
Yeah,
that's another
we're not
one.
keeping score
Not
in
keeping
soccer.
score.
We don't want winners and losers, and everybody gets a trophy at the end of the year, so they don't feel bad about themselves, so they feel good.
But that's that whole crowd. The trouble is it's getting more instead of less, I think. The parents today, some of the parents that are coming online as parents,
You know,
that
in a school committee meeting last November, 2 members encouraged broader discussion of fall cultural celebrations, including the Harvest Festival and the Day of the Dead, as an opportunity for students to explore their own social identities and the diversity of our wider community. I am sure the school committee had convulsions over that. We're not going to start celebrating All Souls Day. This isn't going to be a religious thing.
But I will bet you, if they have 10 or 12 Mexican students there, or Hispanic students, they wouldn't be saying that about the Mexican celebration of the Day of the Dead. They will not do that.
Yeah,
They will celebrate that as culturally rich.
yeah. Students to explore their own social identities and the diversity of our wider community, but not All Souls Day, not a religious holy day. We're not going to do that.
But Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh,
want
yeah.
it?
I know. I know.
There's a lot of cultures that have that.
Yeah. A pox on the Melrose school system. That's what I say. Wow. Have you been following the events at Mass and Cass?
Not particularly.
Well,
I see it. I know what it is.
Mhm.
But I don't know the latest, what happened over the week. Well, we took a couple days off, but I don't know if anything happened over the weekend from last Friday, last day of the week.
well, a little history is in order.
I was surprised when it came out. It came to light.
Yeah.
I had never heard of this before.
Really?
I
Okay.
didn't know anything about Mass and Cass. And I had to say, what is Mass and Cass?
What happened is there is a large facility on Long Island in Boston Harbor. And it's for a recovery center, a drug rehabilitation center.
Oh, is this the one with the bridge going over into Quincy's territory and stuff? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
And so what happened, folks, is that the bridge from Boston to Long Island was declared unsafe
Yeah, they tore
and
it down.
condemned, and they tore it down.
Yeah.
Well, they took all of the folks being treated in Long Island and sort of like taking a size 12 foot and jamming it into a size 8 shoe. They jammed them into the city of Boston in various shelters in all, not the least of which was Pine Street Inn, and which happens to be right there about the corner of Mass Avenue and Cass, which is an abbreviation for something else. But you say, well, the solution to this mess is to rebuild the bridge. So now we come to the crux of the problem. Boston is here. Long Island is over here. So we need a bridge to go from here to here. Quincy Bay controls the building of the bridge. And Quincy does not want the rehabilitation center reopened. Even though it's in Boston, they don't want it. And they're trying desperately to stop the rebuilding of that center, which was doing great work and was a good thing from everything I have read. So we have stopped. We're dead in the water, and the folks, the unfortunate, the homeless, the drug addicts, are now stuffed into an area down in the South End, and they're living on the street in tents, in cardboard boxes. They eat at the Pine Street Inn. Heaven only knows how they function during the day, because the Pine Street Inn, when they feed them in the morning, kicks them out.
Yeah, they got to leave.
Because you got to get the place cleaned up, and then they come back for lunch, or they go to a soup kitchen or something like that. We're not doing anything to help the people. The unfortunate people that are homeless. There's no rehabilitation going on. It is just one big cluster.
Yep.
And the people in the South End are now saying, not in my backyard. Get these people the hell out. So the homeless, living in tents and in cardboard boxes, and God only knows what else, are being taken out of their huts and told, well, we're going to move you someplace else. We're not sure where the heck you're going, but, oh, we're going to put you in this building for a while, or that building for a while. Is that what we were taught in catechism? To love thy neighbor as yourself, or love your brother?
No, but that's the economics of it's also going to come into play here.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
But yet-
that whole situation, I think, is a mixture of mental illness, drug addiction,
Alcohol.
alcohol. It's a whole myriad of
Yes,
of problems
you're
all
absolutely
stirred
right.
together. So it's kind of hard to pull one factor of it out of that mix. But this state, probably every state, not in my backyard, the NIMBYism is strong.
Yeah.
The NIMBYers won't admit it, but it is.
Dwayne, I can tell you, in a discussion I had with one of the town fathers, I will never reveal who it was. I said, why didn't we build more than 64 units of elderly, low-income housing?
Oh, I know why.
Why don't
both
we
know why.
add on to that?
Mhm.
You know what his answer to me was? There'll be no more blank ghettos in this town.
Yep.
I am not going to have ghettos taking down the value of my house. My house is my retirement.
Yep.
Oh boy, huh? Love thy neighbor as thyself.
They made a fuss when they built the senior center here.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, that senior center was going to have wild parties late at
Yeah.
night and rock bands and drug use and drunks and
you name it. Mm. Well,
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
that one.
This NIMBY is alive and well right here in Norfolk. And let me tell you something, folks. If the great and general court of the state of Massachusetts ever said, we're going to build a big rehab center in Norfolk, let me tell you, that would never happen. The town of Norfolk would go absolutely ape.
Absolutely.
Not in my backyard. No way. Folks, this has been a disjointed and probably maddening exercise.
But common for us.
Yes. Nothing out of the ordinary. So look, we'll see you next time. Wish you all the best. And stay tuned because the next episode will be another dynamite deal.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
See ya.